Y254. Imagine.
Welcome to the Power Talk Show. I'm your host, Dominic George. It's nice to have you here and to know that you're watching and you're with us. And also with me is at Africa Band, as usual, on our show, making it lively. And I've got a guest today. We are going to be talking about real change. And today, my question that I want you to text me on 22162, starting the word power, is what have you done, or what do you think can result to real change in your own personal life or in the society? Today we are seeing so many things that are happening, so many scandals, so many things that are not going right, and we want to discuss about real change. And my question is, what do you think we can do to result to real change, or what can you do as a person to effect real change in your own life? Okay, so that's my question. What can you do to effect real change in your own life? Text me to 22162, starting the word power. And as usual, you might win yourself. You will win yourself 250 shillings worth of airtime. So can we keep that conversation going? So welcome to the show, and I'm going to take you straight to at Africa Band, who are going to start us off with this show. And then when we come back, we are going to have one very serious conversation on the real change. At Africa, let's go.
Breathe again, give me life. 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 Breathe.
Just one touch of your love is all I need.
Is all I need.
So let me know, can this drop or slip?
'Cause I've been waiting
for a while, I need this time.
I've been waiting
for a while, I need this time.
I am ready. Come life, I am ready. Come life,
I am weary, I am tired of this battle. Won't you come and give me life?
breathe again, give me life. 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 Breathe.
Yeah, Welcome back. That's beautiful. It's always amazing. Goosebumps when you listen to At Africa Kenya. You have an event, by the way, a wedding coming up. You have one of those corporate events. This is the band to call. They're going to make your event one of the very best. So as I told you today, we are having a conversation on real change. And I have asked you, text me on 22162 to tell me what is one thing that you can do to effect real change in your life, or what is one thing do you think can result to real change in the society today. Or you can even tell me a simple question as an answer to a simple question as, what is the meaning of life, okay? And so today, to help us to talk about this conversation is my friend. Welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, go for it. Let's hear who you are first of all before I ask a torrent of questions.
Well, which is the camera at home?
No, you just talking. Forget about the camera. Yeah.
That was beautiful from Art Africa.
Art Africa, yeah, they're great, right?
I should get them to do one of the conferences that we hold at, but I'll see them on the side.
Yes, definitely.
My name's James Sudi, Nabangi.
Nabangi. I love the last name.
Yes.
Nabangi.
Now, please do not misconstrue. That's just a name.
No,
so
but I
not separating.
No, but we can make make Nabangi. Like if I ask someone, umekuja Nabangi.
Sijakuja nayo. I just came with one. But anyway,
right,
so
yeah.
My day job rather revolves around directors and trainings. Yeah,
Directors?
so director development and training. I
Mhm.
work with an organization called the Institute of Directors Kenya.
Institute of Directors Kenya. Can you
Yes.
just maybe give us a brief of what happens there?
The institute basically seeks to professionalize directorship in Kenya. And the key mandate is basically to champion corporate governance across the board. So directors basically span across the public and private sector. So the idea is to have members join the institute, just like ICPSK or ICP-AK, which is ISPAC. Law Society of Kenya has that for lawyers. We have one for accountants. We have one for...
So what you're looking for is to get now the directors of
get
different...
directors on board, and of course professionalize it, because we are tired of not having directors understand that their role and responsibilities are to provide oversight for the organizations. They're stewards of resources of that company. So if anything happens and the company loses out because of fraudulent or malpractices, the buck stops with the directors.
Definitely, definitely, yeah.
So we will not say the finance people did not do, the management did this, or the CEO did this. Of course, the CEO becomes part of the board, but at the end of the day, who ratifies those?
So you call directors from different organizations and companies. This basically do, and you like capacity build them. You train them.
There is an aspect of capacity building, but of course then we have what we call corporate governance trainings that we give directors.
Okay.
But at the end of the day, how do directors keep on upskilling themselves? They have to be members of an institute that basically champions their professionalism and ensures that basically in whatever areas that they are keen on improving, be it finance, be it the legal aspect, depending on, because directors span across. Accountants are directors.
Yes.
Lawyers are directors in their own right. So they also feed into the system.
Okay.
So that's the whole idea. So we basically upskill directors in areas of governance.
Perfect.
And governance spans across IT, spans across
all kinds of professionalism. Okay. Exactly. Now, that aside, let's come back to real change. Today, we want us to talk about real change. And I remember I had this wonderful conversation actually that brought us, this idea of having this show today about the question of why. Right? So, and we wanted to ask, are we where we are because we are unable to ask hard questions, to ask important questions? What results to real change, both in personal and communal society level, right? So do you think that persons, especially here in Kenya, or the society at large, are able to ask themselves these big questions of the why?
Let me just begin by saying, I remember when I was young, or rather, we should all remember when you're young and you had to do something. And your parents or your mom would say, you know what, utafanya kenye nimekuambia. You see?
Yes.
When you ask why, do because I have told you. Don't ask why. Usiulize ni kwa nini, fanya.
So this became part of our psyche.
It becomes part of our growth, that we are not meant to ask questions. Just do as you're told. And so our system of education has built up on that. Even in schools, There are times when you would fear even asking questions in class because you fear challenging the lecturer. You fear challenging the teacher.
And when you ask a question, it's more of a what question.
Yes.
It's not a why
it's not
question.
A why question.
It's more of
because the
what.
moment you start asking why questions, you're challenging the intellect of the person who's basically supposed to be giving you that information. So you accept things as they are.
As they're given to you.
That's the truth. And that's like some lecturers or teachers will come and say, my word is final. And I mean, if you wrote anything other than what we learned in class, then you fail your exam.
But that's true. I've
you
had that.
some,
yeah.
Then the issue of do you think out of the box? Do you think within the box? Or do you think without the box comes in?
Yeah, the box is not even there in your
thinking. The box is not even there.
Yeah.
So we've been taught to think within the box and not out of it or without it. So we focus on what is there. We don't think there's another kind of life outside here that we really need to focus on.
So if you kind of remove the box, many people cannot be able to think.
Exactly.
Because the box is not there,
exactly,
which aids their thinking.
Sure.
So let's take, for example, the question of relationships, right? I'm a counseling psychologist, and this is what sometimes I deal actually a good number of the times.
Right.
So maybe someone will write or ask a question of, should I be, or this boyfriend of mine or this girlfriend of mine of 1, 2, 3, 4 question. Then I ask them, why do you want to be in a relationship in the first place? And the person gets quiet. Why do you think this happens?
One of the things that I wouldn't say I'm an expert there, but the thing that basically would really disturb very many people today is the fact that we don't really want to delve into the serious issues of and we're still going back to the why, and the why is more about, it's strategic. It's more strategic. That's the reason why even in the boardroom, I'll still use that because I deal with directors.
Yeah.
Strategy is easily spoken about, but when it comes to the nitty-gritties of actually doing the strategy, it pushes most of these particular members away because it's quite engaging and quite involving. It's quite gruesome to just sit down and come up with a very proper strategy. So the question why to a relationship, to two people in a relationship actually becomes quite sinister. It becomes, now there is that thing about, I got attracted to someone. You didn't have to think about it. You felt. So you love this particular person even before you actually got to know them. Unfortunately, that's how the process is, because you have feelings.
Yeah.
Now, the moment you start questioning your own feelings, you lose that person. Because now you start thinking about that person in all either the negative and positive things. You start thinking about, what about if they did this? What about if they lied to me? Because many times you don't think about it. You just get into the relationship and like, he's the one. But there are very many the ones, because if you left this relationship, you go to another one, there's another the one.
Yeah.
You see, so it's like sort of opium, sort of an ecstasy drug that you get, and until you start even drunkards, the moment they start asking themselves why, then they start getting level head as to why they got drunk.
Why do I have to take alcohol in the first place, right?
Yes.
Instead of simply saying, what is alcohol, how does it taste?
Exactly.
I ask myself, but why do I need to take it in the first place?
If you do that, then you want to do it. You want to take the alcohol. But if you just go with the flow, you will definitely take that alcohol.
The flow that goes downwards.
I mean, everybody, guys, let's go out, have drinks. That's the reason why we have very many failed relationships today, because guys are not ready to really ask pertinent questions about why. It's good that there's a first instance. First get attracted to someone, then meet them. Talk about things. But do we really ask questions in the first date that basically matter? Or do we just continue doing this? He took me out to dinner, he took me out to the movies, she came, she slept over, that kind of thing. That's what we look at. But are we really asking why are we doing all these things before we actually...
But even to answer the question of what is love in the first place, right? So if this person says, I'm so much in love with this person, take for example, but if you ask this person, why are you in love with this person? Or what do you call love in the first place? And why does love exist in the first place? These questions are just too difficult. Why do we need to talk about this, We just need to experience it. But how can you know how to experience something without knowing actually what it is, right? And this takes me to the question of, just before we went on air, I was telling you about the question of slavery, right? This is my model. So you have an economic system in Kenya.
Right.
In Kenya, we have an economic system that is divided in a sense of only 1%, actually. It's 2.78% of Kenyans who earn 100,000 shillings and above, 2.78 out of 50 million. And so if only this percentage is earning 100,000 shillings and above,
Oh, yeah.
and we have within that country scandals of billions of shillings, right? So now the question is, some people call me a motivational speaker. I don't like it. Why? Simple because I tend to look at our economic system as where you have a pack of slaves, right?
Yeah.
And giving them motivation is simply encouraging them to be better slaves, right? But they're still slaves at the end of the day, right? So are we asking fundamental questions instead of simply saying, let us arrest these people who have done this corruption? Are we asking this question, but why do we need such an economic model, or how comes we have come to a society that people say we are Kenyans, we are Christians. A majority of the people in prison are right now going through this system of, the court system. They're Christians. They're people who believe in God,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Why?
I think there is something that we also need to address in terms of, and I'll look at it this way. The reason why we are still in the rat race, I mean, the rat race is basically you get your salary at the end of the month and everything goes. You get to 10th or 15th, you have nothing. You're surviving or you're borrowing to keep you going to the next salary.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's true.
and that's a problem. And the question of slavery is as simple as that we have not willed totally ourselves. It's a free will. It's something that you choose as an individual to agree with yourself, not with anybody else, with yourself, that you know what, these are my expenses, this is what is expected of me, and so if this is what, so there's a what, then there's a how, and so if there's a what and a how, and you have a job that you're doing, then you always have to ask yourself why you're doing that job.
Yeah. You have
And
to ask yourself the
why?
question of why.
So we always stop at that particular point. What am I doing to get my salary at the end of the month? Okay. How am I going to basically make more, or how am I really going to get there at the end of the month, now that I maybe not necessarily have my salary because I finished it somehow? But then do you ask yourself why you always get into the same problems? So the Western cultures that have been brought to us, ideally, whereby we do not think about us as Africans, we think about this is the lifestyle we want to lead. We don't have a middle class in Kenya, ideally, and that's something I would say, sure, without necessarily mincing my words. We only have, what do you call it? I'm trying to look for the best words. The middle class today in Kenya is not middle class because they don't really have their money. They are not as rich as you will expect them to be. They live on loans. They live on credit.
Yeah, it's true, quite true.
I get a good job, I finish, and that's the problem of education that we have in this country.
A middle class in Kenya possibly would be
so that's where the slavery begins.
A poor person in some.
Yeah, that's where the slavery begins.
Yeah,
we're enslaved by a system of education that says that you have to study hard to move to the next class. So if you don't get an A, you're miserable. Yet, of course, some of the people who are employed today are employed by guys who got C's and E's. These are the guys who run companies. But we don't see that. We're blinded by that particular fact. Then you get to you have to get to a good university when you get an A, and you finish university, you get a good job. So you get that good job in one of the big four or one of the beautiful companies, the Fortune 500 companies. You earn a good salary. Banks knock at your door, and they come. You earn this much. You can actually have this car, or you can actually have this plot, and you're so enticed into that particular thing. You actually know that I can pay this in 2 years. And my salary, and I'll still stay in Kangemi, for instance, or I'll stay in some place in Rwaka. But ideally, this particular human, as guys love, all of us human love, we have come to appreciate materialism a lot, and that's where we also have lost a lot, because we are this consumeristic nature that basically has really muffled us up, and we are always thinking about buying and buying and buying things that we not necessarily need.
Because you don't ask the question, why am I buying
Why am I
stuff?
buying those
Why,
things?
like the same question,
it's
why
because
am I reporting to this
so-and-so
job?
has, I also want to, so you're competing.
A comparison.
So you get your car, you take your loan, your logbook, you go to the bank and say, I have a car, can I get another loan for a plot? You get your plot, you go get your title deed, you get another loan for your title deed. And then you keep on living in that particular
You get yourself in this
cloud.
cycle.
Exactly, and that
yeah.
has to end. We really need to think about it. Now, same trend that basically our children will follow. Same trend, and it will never change. And you know, the thing is, it has to start from down there. We have to unlock the chains of slavery down here. It's not going to happen
To
up
change
here.
from up there.
It has to.
We need to take a short break.
Okay.
All right. We need to take a short break right now. Don't worry, it's Africa. We take a short break. There is one song that we need to watch. Childish Gambino. Donald Glove, if I remember well, did a song called This is America. Another guy from Nigeria did another one called This is Nigeria. All right? It's sort of a parody, but with a very relevant messaging to in the context of Kenya, and it's going to be part of our conversation. So, watch this song, and you have the conversation after.
Extremely poor, and the medical facilities are poor. We operate a predatory neo-colonial capitalist system which is founded on fraud and exploitation, and therefore you are bound to have corruption, institutionalized. Many criminal cases are settled in police stations. I beg you. This is Nigeria. Look how I'm living up. Look how I'm living up. Everybody be criminal. This is Nigeria. Look how we living up. Look what we eating up. Everybody be criminal. This is Nigeria. Just because I'm on TV now. Person who don't get work is checking to see if my watch is original. This is Nigeria. Whether Madam Philomena. Money vanish for your office, 36 million, you tossing an animal. This is Nigeria. Never any recession. When looters and killers and stealers are still contesting election. Politicians with thieves, some billion and billion, you know there's no prison. Police station they close by 6. Security reason. My brothers and sisters, I want you to put your hands up right now, because your miracle is coming this week. If you believe me, let me hear you say amen. This is Nigeria. Praise and worship, we're singing out. Pastor put his hand on the breast of his member, he's pulling the demon out. This is Nigeria. No electricity daily. Your people are still working multiple jobs and they talk say we lazy. This is Nigeria. There's plenty of Maharasha. Fulani heads, man, still in slaughter. Got the people, they massacre. This is Nigeria. Bombs in my area. This is democracy. Political hysteria. Yahoo, don't see everywhere now. And we act like it's so cool. Casting the P and being castigated just for trying to be noble. This is Nigeria. Look at my nation. Sir, stop before road, any explanation. You will talk about station. Sir, look, I'm sorry. I'm just a student. I'm a student of the University of Lagos. We're just coming from the club, okay? So my friend and I, no, sir, I have my ID to prove. This is Nigeria. Look how I'm living up. Look how I'm living up. Everybody be criminal. This is Nigeria. Look how we living up. Look what we eating up. Everybody be criminal.
This is breaking transmission of transmission.
But what happens every day is that the system has allowed it. For instance, there is no law that allows you to take money from the church, invest in business, and privatize it. No! It is only in Nigeria where you can take money from the church, money contributed by poor congregation member. You go and set up a university that the members cannot attend, cannot send their children to. It's against the rule of the law of God. It's against our constitution.
Welcome back. That's a Okay, sorry. That's that. I don't know I can't really remember the artist of that song from Nigeria, but the original song, which has garnered more than 250 million views on YouTube in the last 1 month, was by Donald Glove, commonly known as Childish Gambino, with the song "This Is America," and one of the things, welcome back, by the way, let me not continue speaking to the camera, welcome back. Now, one of the things that I actually liked about this song and all the parodies, there's several songs that have come up, people are saying this is Canada, this is the UK, this is, so there are different songs. I've not seen This Is Kenya so far, maybe At Africa might come up with This Is Kenya. But what I like about one of the things that I'm liking from Glover, is what he is mentioning. His song basically is trying to show a lot of violence happening in the background, but with very good dancers with him at the very center. So you are torn between focusing on him and the violence at the back, right? And one of the things that for me I took from there is how entertainment is used by so many young people to go away from dealing with the real issues, right? And in the song, he says, he talks about the phone. This is a tool, right? Do you think that sometimes without entertainment is good, but do you think that sometimes it is used by young people to avoid looking at the real issues, to avoid the question of the why?
Ideally, pain. Nobody loves pain.
Yeah, for sure.
Nobody loves pain.
Yeah.
And today, that's the lifestyle is to look at. You go to Instagram, you go to Facebook. People don't really post their real lives. I mean, I may be coming from a very broken background, but I will post my selfie there with some very nice mocktail.
I've seen girls who say, I woke up like this, but you can see this is a person even with makeup and all that.
Exactly. So there's that we are hiding, and that's where the concept of YOLO and YODO comes in. So it's
you only live once.
You only live once, so you only die once. So people are ready to die at any point in time, and so that really does not really affect the way they look at life. And there's a problem there, because if the youth become so immune to what is happening in the background, to what is happening to them, then it means we have a problem with leadership in the future.
Yeah. What do you think of that song, though?
It's a very beautiful rendition to actually just bring the context to Africa, because Childish Gambino is not just speaking to America. Ideally, if we look at the song, what is happening in the background, it's important to note that all these things happen, and today, in the context of Kenya, is that we are all out there celebrating. We have handshakes that are happening.
Handshakes. Handshakes are my handshake.
Yet we are not looking. The challenge is we don't have consequences for the things we do. We are not focused on the consequences. If there were consequences that you have to face, even as leaders, you wouldn't actually play this particular game. It's not. It's like a game of cards. And of course, chess becomes a strategy game. And when you bring chess into the livelihoods of people, then of course people suffer.
It's true. But my question would be, James, why should I be worried about the consequences if I do not understand why I should, in the first place, be giving these funds for the service of the community?
Now,
why the nation?
The challenge is, and especially why we are focused more on the nice things, and we forget about our pain, is because we have glorified everything that's wrong in this particular, of course, even in the world, because that's the things we do. We don't have role models anymore. We don't have them. So why is it that I will be very happy to do that? Because happiness, happiness basically has its own ups and downs. People do not know about, because real happiness basically takes a lot of sacrifice. But this happiness that we are looking for, just for the short while, that adrenaline, that dopamine that kicks in, that's what we are looking for at that point in time. We want to live in the moment.
In the moment.
And that's where the danger comes in. So we don't work hard to achieve what we want to achieve. We want quick salaries when we get out of university, big salaries. Yes.
Yeah.
And we do not know what it takes to be there. And that's where the challenge comes in, because now it's quick. We are a microwave generation. Things have to be done chop. That's the reason why we also do not get to accomplish things the right way and chop. So we have to really address those issues. And unfortunately, we're still talking about the question of why.
Of why.
Of why.
And that's where I want to go back now to the viewer and ask the viewer. Remember the question I told you in the very beginning. What can you do to effect real change in your life? Or what can you do to effect real change in our country today, in our society? Or if you don't want to answer any of those, you can simply say, what is the meaning of life for you? What is the real meaning of life, right? And text to 22162, starting the word power. And if I like your answer, definitely. If I think that you have taken time to answer your question, I'm going to give you 250 shillings worth of airtime, right? Now, back to you. There is this philosopher called Nietzsche, as we close up, who said, if anyone with a why can deal with any how, right? The moment I know why I want to do something,
Right.
I can deal with any how, right? As we close up, what is your message? What is the take on this? What is your take on this? Because this was what you're speaking about.
We can also talk about, and it's good Nietzsche brought that issue out, but then we also talk, Descartes talks about, for as long as I think, then I am.
Yeah.
All right? It's the same concept. So when you think about the why, then the how to do it comes into play is a very, very easy way to look at how we should actually transition in terms of life and how we look at things. It becomes difficult when you go from the how to the why, because the how already has set up things for you. It doesn't really matter how you did it, but you're there. That's the reason why in business we also talk about this business, we talk about management is all about doing
The right things. Things right.
doing things right.
Yeah.
But then leadership is about doing the right thing. So we have very many managers and very few
Leaders. Yeah.
Yeah. So the concept of why is very important in our lives today. Why do I wake up in the morning? Because when you ask why, then you will know your purpose for that day. Because why is all about purpose. It's all about the accomplishments you want to do for the day. But many times we wake up and let the day take its course. And that's a very big problem, because if we are looking for a job, you're intentionally looking for it. So the issue here is about why, and being intentional and deliberate about the issues that you want to accomplish.
And once you ask the question of why, the meaning has to come from inside, isn't it?
It does have to be. It has
From
to
inside.
be part.
Part
And the
and
change
parcel of
comes
you.
from you.
Yeah,
and when we
from
talk
you.
about real change, it actually is not about a group. We don't sit together and decide, let's go visit a children's home. If 90% of us are not into the children's home and we just went there to have fun,
Yeah.
then we are not making any change. It has to be from within.
So if let's take for example, university students want to take a course.
Right.
The first question is, why do I want this course? The answer should not be out there for the market, for the money, because that's an answer out there.
Exactly.
It has to be a question of how does it fulfill my sense of purpose and meaning and give me happiness in, right?
Exactly.
Okay, so it's a question of that is answered from within, right?
Very true. And you see, for you also to be able to ask the questions why, you have to be very well informed. Why goes with facts. You can't just ask why without necessarily answering yourself also. Because you can ask why and look for answers everywhere before you get it. So you have to be very deliberate about what you want to do in university. So you have to be informed. Because when you ask why, you need to know, why am I doing aeronautical engineering? Is it because the market, I'm envisioning to have a very pleasant job or pleasant lifestyle because of this? Or is it because I want to really serve a specific purpose in society? Or do I have really a passion? I want to really invent the next big thing in this particular space.
Yes, true.
So it has to be, you have done your research. So you will not be able to ask the question why if you're not well read.
Well, right. So you got also to read
Yes, you need to really
expose yourself to
you need
different experiences,
you really need
basically.
to do that for you to be able to ask questions and ask the right questions. Because why is always about asking the right questions. If you cannot do that,
You're
then I
gonna
think
mess it up.
You lose yourself
Definitely.
into the whole thing and go round and round the whole concept.
And now, listen. Before we close this up, you play games?
Yes, I.
All right. So we're gonna play a game because we have been having this serious conversation, and I don't want you to go home thinking, oh, why was I in that? Why was I in that show?
Why
right?
am I coming here?
So, you know, in the African context, we used to play riddles.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So I got a few riddles here for you.
All right.
Like 2 or 3, okay? Let me see which is the simplest for you. Okay. There is a dog on one side of a lake
All right.
and a woman on the other. The woman calls the dog over, and when the dog gets to her, it's not wet at all. How is this possible?
This dog is on the other side of the lake.
So there is a woman on this side of the
Yes,
lake,
yeah.
and the dog is on the other side of the lake. She calls it over, and it comes over, and when it gets to her, it's not wet. How is that possible?
That's interesting. There's no boat, there's nothing.
Mm-hmm. Anyone from at Africa?
No, wait. I mean, it's quite interesting.
Are you use the mic? Sorry.
Call the dog.
Call the dog over.
The dog came over, but it was not wet.
It was not wet. Okay, can I tell you the answer? So in 3,
2.
the lake was frozen.
All right. Now
All right.
let's thinking out of the box.
It's the next one.
Thank you.
I have hands I can move,
Right.
but I cannot clap. What am I?
You have hands you can move.
But I cannot clap. What am I? I have hands that I can move.
You can move your hands, but you cannot
Yes,
clap.
but I cannot clap.
Why wouldn't you want to clap?
I have hands.
When you have your hands.
Think outside the box. I have hands I can move, but I cannot clap.
Right.
Yep. No? A clock.
The clock ticks. That's a way of clapping. No,
No,
think we
that's
can
not
argue
clapping.
this. We can argue that actually. Philosophically.
Clapping is when two hands meet.
Meet. Okay, fine. They
Yeah,
meet
but-
at some point in time at 12 and 12. No, it's okay. I'm joking. I'm joking.
Final one.
All right.
What? This is simple.
All right.
What is at the end of the rainbow?
The end of the rainbow.
Yeah.
The colors, of course.
What is the end of rainbow?
Bowl.
Give her the mic. Give her the mic, I think.
He's saying rain.
W, yes, right.
Thank you.
W. Now I'm going to give you one more. Let me see, which is simple.
This
here.
has to have airtime, yeah? The
Yeah.
250 airtime, right?
Yeah.
Okay, fine. Let's go. Let's go. That's motivation, of course.
Okay, final one. I am weightless but can be seen.
You're weightless but can be seen.
Yes. Put me in a bucket and I'll make it lighter. What am I? I am weightless but can be seen. Put me in a bucket and I'll make it lighter. What am I?
Put me in a bucket and I can make it lighter.
Mhm.
That's not water because water basically makes.
You make it heavier.
Oh, you got me here.
Okay.
What is it?
I'm told by my producer to let the viewers answer that one.
Ah, okay. Great.
So we're not gonna answer that right away. Okay, but I want to close it up first of all, thanking you for coming.
All right.
Next time when you come, you have to make sure that you win at least one riddle. I'm gonna make this one a permanent feature of the show
No,
starting.
at least you should
going
ask
forward.
some of the vernacular riddles. I know, African riddles. not
African-
this,
African riddles.
Westernized riddles.
Ask me
yeah.
one. Ask me one. African.
I am tall.
Uh-huh. You're tall. Yes. Go on.
That's it. That's it.
That's it.
I'm tall.
Giraffe.
No.
Really? That's not a riddle.
No. Seriously, answer.
I'm tall. Then you.
No. Am I tall?
Yes, you are tall by any standards. Why are you tall? Really, I am tall. That's not how a riddle goes.
No, I'm tall. It's just a riddle. Just answer. Why am I tall?
A road.
Why? But I'm tall.
A road?
No, a road is long.
Okay. Yeah, sure. Building times tower. Tree. Come on. Okay, give it. Tell me.
The word tall is just tall.
Ladies and gentlemen, I think we have to close this now.
This has been great.
We have to close this show now. Really? Why? I have to ask that question.
Why? Yes.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are discussing with Nabangi
Thank you.
Sudi today concerning the question of why, as we close it up. And remember, the main reason we're having this conversation is before you make any decision or any life choice, ask yourself the question of why am I doing it? Why, before saying I want to be in a relationship, ask yourself, why do I want to be in a relationship? Why do I want this job? Why do I want to do this course? When you're looking at the society right now, we need to ask ourselves, why do we have to arrange our society the way it is today? You know, let me use the example of, I had used the example of abortion even previously. It's one thing to have a law that forbids or outlaws abortion. It's another thing to ask ourselves, why is it that we live in a society that there are women who are forced to make a choice such as one of abortion, right? So we need to ask fundamental questions. Do not be afraid of the question of why, because it's going to help you reveal your greatest motivation. So we're going to take a short break right now as I thank James Nabangi Sudi for coming to my show. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
No, thank you
and
very
now I
much
throw
for
it
having
to At Africa Band for making time to be here, and please rock the show.
Thank you.
Kwa kweli ulinipenda, jua bado sijakujua, ukanipa mwanga wako, siza kwamba nikateleza, ukaniita mwanga wako, vidonda vyote ukaviziba, na sasa niko huru, lawama yote ulijitwika, ni wewe tu,
Mumba vyote ulinipenda, maisha yangu kafanya mapya, tulizo la moyo wangu ni wewe, ni wewe, ni wewe, ni wewe, ni wewe, ni wewe. Uliza,
Jehova, nimenyosha
mikono
milele kwa maana nimeona hakuna kama wewe. Nauliza,
uliza, uliza,
masia sina haya, nitakukimbilia wewe kwa maana nimeona hakuna kama wewe. Masia sina haya, nitakukimbilia wewe kwa maana nimeona hakuna kama wewe tu.
Mumba vyote ulinipenda, maisha yangu kafanya mapya, tulizo la moyo wangu ni wewe, ni wewe, ni wewe, ni wewe, ni wewe, ni wewe. Mumba vyote ulinipenda, maisha yangu kafanya mapya, tulizo la moyo wangu ni wewe, 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 ni wewe.
All right, welcome back. That was At Africa. That was beautiful, and I hope you enjoyed our show today on At Africa, on the Power Talk Show with At Africa. I love this band so much. I keep talking about them. So remember, there was that what do you call it? The riddle which he said, "I am weightless but can be seen. Put me in a bucket and I make it lighter." If you know the answer, text me, even if it's after the show, on 22162, and I'll call you out. Now, there was someone else who during the last show had texted, and I loved the answer, the contribution that he made, and I'm going to be sending airtime very soon as I receive the number from the producer. So, guys, we're closing up the show now. I appreciate, and remember what the conversation that we have had today. It's all about the question of why, the question of what you do, and this is what I want to leave you with. Ask those deep questions about why you are doing whatever you are doing. Don't allow yourself to go with the flow. This is what I believe about the flow. For there to be a flow, there must be a downward movement, right? A flow never goes up. It has to go down. Now, a flow cannot go down forever. It has to go to a place of stagnation. And when it reaches the place of stagnation, there is no life there. Now, if you are living in stagnation for so long, what happens is you forget the freshness of new water, all right? So remember that. It sounds good to say I am going with the flow, but remember the flow goes downwards to a place where there's no life. So ask yourself, would it be much more important to be like the salmon? Ever heard of that fish that goes up the stream to the freshest of the waters, to the place where it was, can you say, started its life, to restart a new life? Be the salmon. Don't be the one that goes down the flow. It's called the mud fish, and it lives in the mud, and that's not what God created you for. So this has been the Power Talk Show, and I thank you for watching. Go out and make a difference. Be mad, and I'll see you next Wednesday. Cheers. At Africa, let's go.
Weni mama, yeni mama. Jali, bali kwenye maji, penda mwema. Yeye ni mwema, yeye ni mwema, yeye ni mwema. Nami nitazifuata milele. Nishikilie, niongoze, bali na waovu Baba, nionyeshe njia zako, nami nitazifuata milele. Nishikilie, niongoze, mbali na waovu Baba, nionyeshe njia zako, nami nitazifuata milele. Hakuna mwingine, ni wewe peke yako, mbele hata nyuma, ni wewe pekee, hakuna mwingine.